Hello everybody, welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. Let's talk about how we have an OxyContin and we have an opioid epidemic basically in the United States. We've talked about it before. It's pretty horrifying. Well, an American billionaire predicted it and then profited from it. Weird, shocking. Usually billionaires, especially those that run pharmaceutical companies, are so moral and ethical. It's shocking. This is perplexing. The OxyContin prescription blizzard. So first of all, let's go into the nearly 400,000 people died from an opioid overdose between 1999 and 2017, according to the CDC. An average of 130 Americans died a day from opioid overdose in 2017. That's from the CDC. It's mystifying, but I want to go into this person's specific of their names. What it was this company, the Purdue Pharmaceutical, right? And there's this whole family, this Sackler family, who basically created the pharmaceutical company. And one of them predicted this opioid epidemic. Predicted this epidemic. And then went, let's profit from it. Didn't go, oh, this is awful, we should do something about this. No, we're going to basically, for those of you who don't know what OxyContin is, it's just heroin, which is one of the most addictive drugs on the planet. They put it in pill form and prescription form and just, right? Here's what he said in 1996. The launch of OxyContin tablets will be followed by a blizzard of prescriptions that will bury the competition. The prescription blizzard will be so deep, dense, and white. It backfired. Because what they started to do is they started to encourage doctors to overprescribe it. They paid them. So that's one of the reasons they flooded the market. And then, of course, there were doctors who then went completely illegal and just sold it to drug dealers on the streets. But it was all done, they were pushing it legally initially. Now, 48 states have sued Purdue over this. 48 states and Washington, D.C. have filed lawsuits against Purdue Pharmaceuticals over the company's marketing practices related to opioids that allegedly fueled an epidemic. Only Nebraska and Michigan have not done it. That's how the pharmaceutical company works in general. But you got to be a certain kind of evil to just know that this is going to kill people and just, well, it's going to be good for it's going to be good for money, good business. Lives are ruined. Lives are ruined. Because it used to be, heroin, you had to get it in Southeast Asia and smuggle it, or poppy seeds in Afghanistan, you had to smuggle it through, so it was not easy to do. Well, we just made this legal. It's like meth. Meth you can make in your kitchen. We just flood the market with OxyContin. Oh, weird. And prescribed it to people that didn't need it. So they got people hooked. That's what it is. It is so addictive. Somebody had severe pain and they went, oh, here's OxyContin. Now somebody who has debilitating pain, I'm sure there's someone who knows somebody watching this is like, well, I needed it to get by. I couldn't function without it. I get that. But then there are just people like, oh, I've had a broken arm or I got a bum shoulder. Here's OxyContin. Now you're hooked on it. I remember I had my wisdom teeth out about 15 years ago and they gave me Vicodin. And the doctor gave me this big speech. Like, here's only a couple of them. Don't take them unless you really need them. They're highly addictive. I never took them. I just doubled up on Tylenol. I took Tylenol PM and I was like, I don't want to mess with this because your body gets physically addicted to stuff and it's hard. It has nothing to do with willpower. Nothing to do with it. That's why I've always avoided hard drugs. I've never done hard drugs. I've smoked a little weed, like a handful of times, and I used to drink, and I don't do either one of those things anymore. But I never did cocaine. I never did hard drugs because it was too physically addictive. They knew it was physically addictive and pushed it on people. Look at this. Overdose deaths involving any opioid among all ages by gender, 99 to 2017. This is when they knew it was starting to flood the market. This is it. This goes in line, and it's more for men than it is for women. Look at this. 47,000 people in 2017. Don't know what the 2018 numbers are yet. Those are humans' lives. Those are people's lives. Those are families. The number one cause of death for people under the age of 50 is drug overdose. Thanks, Purdue Pharmaceutical. And here's what they used to do in the lawsuit they uncovered. The scheme was spectacularly successful, the student stated. From 2000 to 2011, let's go back there. 2000, 2011, oh, nice uptick. Nice uptick. Way to go. More people died so you could live in a yacht. Awesome. The number of prescriptions for the manufacturer defendants' opioid drugs more than quadrupled nationwide. Even though there was no scientific basis for any significant increase in opioid treatment as medically necessary or appropriate. They knew it. They knew it. They knew this was happening. They didn't care. So I'm sorry when I say that the corporate media is bullshit. I say, I told some friends of mine, Ron and I were on RT. We were on Redacted Tonight with Lee Camp. It was so awesome. Like, isn't that Russian TV? That's state TV. Okay, yeah, it's financed by Russia. But is this, the pharmaceutical companies buy ad time on all the major networks. If you watch the Democratic primaries, you're going to see a bunch of pharmaceutical ads, and they contributed to this. They knew this was happening. They knew they were murdering people. They knew it. They profited from it. That guy predicted it. The guy from Purdue Pharmaceutical predicted it in 1996 and he didn't go, oh God, what a disaster. He went, ooh, we could make some money. What a parasite. I mean, boy, we're dropping all these bombs in the Middle East. Ooh, maybe we ought to ramp up Muslim funeral homes. Maybe we'll make some money that way. I mean, this is horrifying. This is this isn't, I know you godless, soulless, amoral pharmaceutical CEOs don't understand anything other than graphs and charts and money. But each one of these numbers, this is a person who then had friends and family that loved them, and it ruined their lives. Each one of these numbers has some horrifying, they were loving, we loved them, they got arrested, it blew this up, the kids didn't know. I mean, anytime you're around addiction, it is a disaster. It is a disaster for everyone around it. So the FDA just passed a new, more addictive fentanyl. And in Tennessee, this is a local Tennessee station which is suffered severely by the opioid epidemic. They had this panel talking about it, and they took some callers. This is what the callers had to say.
All right, welcome back. I know we do have Teresa on the line. Hey, Teresa, thanks for calling. What's your question?
Yes, I'd like to kind of wrap my head around, we have such a huge fentanyl problem in the United States. Why would we even consider a drug called Decivia, which is 1,000 times stronger, to even come stateside?
All right, that's the $1,000,000 question.
I would be happy to send Matthew a link to the FDA discussion on that. I've read it. I can say from a personal point of view, I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense to me, and I'm still not really sure why it was approved. There was a lot of discussion about why it shouldn't be approved, and it was approved.
What? Why should this be approved? And it was approved anyway. You want to know why? The big pharmaceutical companies pushed it through. They spent a bunch of money. They own the FDA. So more people's lives are going to be ruined. And if you watch this show is like 15, 20, or 30 minutes long or something like that. If you watch this whole show on YouTube, this call-in show, all these people calling, I'm a pain sufferer, and it's awful. I'm sure viewers, put in the comments section, You seeing how this addiction, how this friends and family, how it ruined lives, how doctors just they do the same thing at the VA, man. I mean, this going back historically. So in World War II, vets or soldiers were wounded in the field. They would give them, I think, methadone. And when they came back from World War II, there were all these vets that were addicted to it. That's when heroin took off. So we've got not just regular citizens being addicted to this, but vets coming back with pain, shrapnel, whatever, who are addicted to now being thrown into the opioid epidemic.
I don't have a good answer to that one.
I know it's bringing up the whole big pharma type of conversation again, which this year there's been a big crackdown on all of that, as recent as Endo Pharmaceuticals with their lawsuit there in East Tennessee. All right. Hey, Tom, thanks for calling. What's your question? Hey, Tom. You there, Tom?
Yes, hello.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm a pain patient. And I've been on pain medication for 28 to 30 years. And I've also taken nerve medication. And now they're wanting to cut me off. And one of the others, which I've been on for such a long time. And I feel like taking them off will be very dangerous for me. Because like I say, I feel 80-something feet. Like I said, I've been on for a long time. But I'm on a low dose of a pain medication. But like I said, who am I going to sue when they take me off of my pain medication and it nearly kills me or causes me to have a heart attack or something in that form? Pharmacy, doctors, or the government?
It's the worry that we're hearing.
It's the worry, and I think I spoke to that a little bit before. I think there's a great fear in people of being able to manage pain that they feel has been unmanageable, and a lot of resources have been put into a prescription rather than managing pain other ways. There's a lot we don't know about the brain and how the brain kind of manages pain. Becoming dependent is one of the things your brain kind of does in order to be able to manage what your body has been being given. We're struggling with the fact that we got ourselves in a big mess, and it's going to be a mess to get ourselves out. And I don't have a really good answer except to say that we have to try some options in order to be able to fix it.
Yeah. Where do we see the crisis moving forward? Will it go down? Is it going down? What are we seeing so far?
I think I'm always a little nervous to speak too soon. Certainly the numbers over 2016, 17, 18 in Davidson County were going up still a little. I think we were hoping to maybe see a plateau a little bit more, but seeing the portion of fentanyl deaths go up within those numbers, again, that's not a good situation. I think we'll be watching very carefully over this year to see if it does plateau and where we land there. I think there is a hope that it would even out that a lot of the people that were getting prescriptions where that's been curtailed, that maybe they've been able to get help or transition to something else.
So, this is just the state of Tennessee that they're talking about, but this is also one slice of a much bigger issue. This is happening all over America. And, that woman brings up a great point, why we only spent money on pharmaceutical options. Because the pharmaceutical company, they don't want to know, they don't want to hear about any other options. I had chronic hip and back pain and I found yoga. Now, I'm not prescribing, I'm not a doctor. People who've had very serious injuries or accidents or car accidents or motorcycle, have serious pain and need to manage that pain. And when you're in severe pain, you'll do anything to make it stop. But this is the point: is we're not going into the only options that they're putting any research into are the most highly addictive. And they know it's addictive because it's good for profit. If you're addicted to something, you're going to keep buying it. I mean, it's just unbelievable that we just keep allowing these massive corporations to do this. And at what cost? Oh, they made profit. All these people have died from it. And how many families? Again, every person that dies from a drug overdose, there's a whole group of friends and family around them who were affected. A whole group. It's never easy. It is never easy when someone is an addict. It affects, it is so brutal. If you've ever watched somebody, I've had to watch somebody, loving, great, sweet, they started doing drugs and hanging out with the wrong, and they became a completely different person. It is brutal. It is brutal. So these companies, I'm glad there's lawsuits being filed. I'm glad people are speaking up, and that's what needs to continue to happen, because they just passed another even more addictive than fentanyl. That woman asked at the top, that first call. So thanks for watching the show, everybody. And, support what I do. You can go to Rokfin.com/Graham Elwood. You can go to Patreon.com/Graham Elwood. You get bonus content at both those places. Progressive Comedy Tour. Ron Placone and I are coming back to Vegas July 27th, and then September 6th and 7th, Madison and Minneapolis. Those ticket links are at GrahamElwood.com. We're going to be adding Sioux Falls, and we're going to be adding Lincoln, Nebraska. We're coming to the Mid-Plains, baby. So support the show, like, subscribe, share these videos. Don't click skip ad. When you click skip ad, I don't get paid. If you watch on YouTube Red, I get paid no matter what. And every Sunday at 3 o'clock, we do a live stream, 3 o'clock Pacific time on Sunday, Super Chat Sunday. And I'm going to start covering the Democratic primaries. Also, my Indiegogo to Russia. That link is in the show notes below. Thanks for watching.